What is up, everyone? I'm Robert Mraz.
And I'm Ina Mraz.
And this is CV Hustle, the podcast dedicated to inspiring and informing local entrepreneurship here in the Coachella Valley. And for all you music nerds like I am out there today, we have a really special guest. Today's guest is a songwriter, a musician, and she's about to blow up, and we're really excited to have her today. Miss Dani Stefanetti, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much. And you said my name perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
It's a hard one to say.
Isn't it? Yeah. I like Danni. Where did Danni come from?
Well, my real name is Danielle, and I think when I was going through a tomboy stage when I was 10, and I was like, everybody call me Danni.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend, and her name's Danielle as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. I love it. Okay, so I have a question for you. I hear an accent.
Yes.
And want to tell me a little bit about where you were, not born, but I think you told me you're Australian,
That's
correct?
Right. Yeah.
And so how did Australia and the desert get married together? How did that happen?
Well, thank you both for having me today. And we don't have many podcasts in the desert, so this is awesome what you're doing.
Thank you.
I've basically moved from one desert to the other. So I grew up in a place called Perth. Have you heard of Perth?
I have, yes.
My son probably
Australia.
did. He's a little geography guy.
That's Eastern Australia?
So it's on the West Coast.
West Coast, okay.
Similar weather to, I would say, San Diego or...
so perfect weather.
Perfect weather. By the water. I lived in a beach town, and it's a very calm city. What I say about Perth is the worst thing about it is it's so comfortable, which is crazy. There's nothing bad about it. It's just a slow-paced way of living and very coastal. Everybody's kind of going to get a smoothie and going for a surf. So it's a great city to grow up in.
It's kind of like California then.
Yes, very, very Californian.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and I was touring for many, many years. I started playing guitar when I was 8 and writing my first song shortly after. And then all my focus and direction went into songwriting once I was learning guitar. And when I was 12, I was already doing shows. And
oh, my gosh.
I dropped out of school when I was 17.
So you're a child prodigy, basically?
Oh, I hope so. The guitar was always bigger than me. And I knew that. It was crazy. I would make so many friends because of the music, but I was very shy and didn't quite fit in school. But when I had the guitar, everybody liked me.
Another persona came out, right?
Yeah, it gave me this confidence, and I wasn't too shy on stage. It's crazy because, when I write these songs, it was a creative outlet of another. When I would go home to practice guitar. I'd practice sometimes 7 hours a night, and my parents are so encouraging that it just organically happened, and I knew I was destined for it from a very young age.
Wow. Well, it's a known fact that Beyonce is very shy, but when she's on stage, she becomes Sasha.
Sasha Fierce,
right?
That's right. Yeah, I've seen that.
See, I didn't know that. That was another fun fact.
Okay, so I guess my question is, so did you come from a family of musicians, or were you one of the chosen ones, or how did that happen?
I will get to the desert question after.
Okay.
There's so much to cover.
Sorry about that.
Well, my parents are musicians, or my family.
Yes.
So my dad works in construction, and he did a lot of road manager, driver, security guard, roadie. He was going through the desert with me. We go up to Kalgoorlie, basically played at pretty much every venue in Perth that everybody started to. It becomes repetitive, and when starting to play out the venues, you start to know you one day have to leave because you're becoming very comfortable. But my dad, no, he wasn't a musician, but he had a great record collection of Peter Frampton, Dire Straits, the Eagles, which I got into. And once I heard of Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, my life changed.
Wow.
But my uncle was a musician. He taught me mandolin, open tunings. My Uncle Pete was in a Cajun band, and he would invite me to open for the folk concerts that he had on. And these traveling musicians would come by our town, and they'd have wine and cheese at my auntie's house. And they would invite me, and I was only 11, to come up
my
and sing
gosh.
before these artists. They were blues musicians and folk. I was very inspired. I remember being a child looking up to them and going, wow, I want to do that.
I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So then how did you learn the guitar? Because, I mean, I know that if you're not coordinated like I'm not, I mean, I'd be lost. So did it just come naturally? No, I guess it didn't come naturally because you said you would practice for like 7 hours a day. So
Yeah, especially in high school. That's when I really got serious about it.
yeah.
Yeah. I was a very serious kid. I shouldn't have taken the music business so seriously. Looking back.
Very determined though, kid, right? You knew what you
determined.
wanted to do at a young age.
Yeah.
And that's pretty rare. I mean, that's
true.
very rare. You don't meet people that at 8 years old knew, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. You know, it's a pretty noble trait, I think, to have, you know. I don't think you meet too many people like that. So,
Well, I didn't relate to books or anything like that. I wasn't a book smart girl.
Mm-hmm.
And something about audio and the music that just brought me out of my shell. But it made people feel good too. So it's like you give and it comes back at you. And it's even when I heard like you got Bob Marley back there. I heard him do I Shot the Sheriff. I remember being in year 5 and hearing that song. It brings back memories. I mean, songs bring back memories and they're good times.
Did you see who's in that rock corner?
Yes. Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
yeah, right? Speak of the devil.
You know, Bobby's a huge like music guy too, and so
Yeah.
he
Definitely a music nerd right here.
oh my gosh, he listens to all kinds of music, but music does bring you exactly to where you were when you were falling in love with a certain song. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So I totally get that, and it
Gives you a dream as well. I think when you're a kid, young girls and guys, I tried the dancing thing. That wasn't for me. So coordination wasn't necessarily my thing.
That's okay. You can play the guitar.
It was a different type of coordination. But I think when you're a child, you need that dream to aspire to what am I going to be when I'm an adult?
Yeah.
And I think that's a healthy thing to have, whether it's sport, fashion, music. But the arts, you know, it's a way of journaling your emotions too. And people accept that. Whereas if you maybe talk it out, they might think you're a little
loopy.
But if you sing about it.
True.
I never thought about that.
That's true. See, we have another creative right here. She's very creative too.
I'm just gonna start singing about clients. And
Yeah.
Just put a good riff underneath it. People love it.
You're gonna have to give me some pointers. So
Yeah.
you're hanging out with not the roadies, but like musicians, right? At a young age. And then take me from, okay, I'm getting really good at this and I want to head to United States. How did that all come about?
So I give it a good, at least, there was a good 15 years of doing the hard yards, we call it in Australia.
Oh, really?
There's a good 10,000 hours you got to put in before you get good at something.
That's
you
true.
know?
That's the Questlove thing, right?
And I was trying to rush
He says
it.
that all the time, right? 10,000 hours to master your craft.
Right.
At anything. It's not just music. It's like anything,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, but you know, if you see some of your peers making it and you're still hustling and trying to find your way, it can get frustrating, this business,
Sure.
because you're like, I've been doing this for 10 years and it's still not coming to fruition. And you can start like losing hope or getting down on yourself, or you need to find new strategies. You need to always be evolving as a musician. You know?
And like we were talking about business, that is, you always have to evolve in business. So
Yes.
totally.
With the market, yeah. I think I actually saw on your page that we have to evolve with the times, and that even happens with, I saw something about,
financially.
yeah, you have to evolve with
my
with the Venmo or something.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, I get asked about that, and I'm like, oh, okay, I better get with it.
It's true.
You know why? Because
I went and made a sign after you said that.
Yeah. Because you know what? It's like checks are becoming obsolete.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just people want money instantly, and everything's just so instant in our world.
It is.
Right?
Yep.
Huh.
So the process from during the hard yards of, I was playing festivals, I played the Opera House, they were building the Perth Arena. I did like corporate shows to festivals to dive bars to bigger shows, openings for some very big rock artists, and Glenn Shorrock from the Little River Band and Daryl Braithwaite, and a lot of our major icons in Australia.
Wow.
So I was opening just me and the guitar. I was some way doing the Ed Sheeran format where I was a one-woman show and I had my loop station, and I didn't have the overheads of a band because my dad always taught me, like, make sure you're self-reliant. You need to be able to carry your gear and like learn how to set it up and do the wires, and you need to learn it because you can't be waiting, or you might not have the budget to depending where you are, you don't want to wait. Oh my gosh, my musician isn't here, and the show must go on. You know.
Yeah, he broke down with a flat tire, and
exactly.
sorry everybody.
So even at a young age, you were making some pretty good business decisions, because that's a good business decision. You know, I always wonder about these bands that travel like 10 deep and they come play a show like at the Belly Up in Solana Beach, like, and they're not making any money because they got to divide that payday 10 ways. It's like that the business side is I think where a lot of people in your industry struggle a little bit, right?
Yeah, because we're artists and we like to think with our heart and our emotions, and the
sounds so good to me.
and the business side, I mean, I don't know, I'm a little bit like that too. I like to be airy fairy, and that's me. I'm very airy fairy.
I love it.
And I sometimes have to go think with common sense, and but I like to just be in my bubble and just do the music. But yeah, you can't do that all the time. But yeah, when it comes to the business side, that was great advice of my dad to keep it like solo, because then years later Ed Sheeran was playing at the stadium in Perth to like 70,000 people, and I was just moving to America at the time, and I thought to myself, I would love to be doing that one day, be invited back to Australia to be like doing what Ed Sheeran's doing,
right? Little homecoming tour,
hometown.
And I do have a little story about that actually that I will share, and I just had these visions, like, I'm just going to have to struggle and be in survival mode until I work it out. But there's no like shortcut. There's no secret to it. You just got to love what you do. And I knew the next step for me was about 2018. And I knew it was the right time to move to LA. And that's when I did the LA scene for over a year, and that was hard. It was hard.
LA
just
will
bringing a
chew
guitar.
you up and spit you out, right? As an artist, sometimes.
Did you have any like friends out here? I'm assuming like music is friendly everywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you had friends, and were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to take your CD and knock on doors and try to get people to like let you in and perform at their venues and all that. And it's the same out here in the desert. You got to see like where you fit and who wants to see you play, and once people hear the music, then that's the easy part, because then they're like, oh, you should do this other show with our friend, or you should come play at a private party or a wedding.
Sure.
And that's how it should be, they should like love the music, and it gets them on their feet and dance.
Yeah.
But LA, I got there just before the pandemic, and I had the dream of, you got to make it big in LA and Hollywood, and I just moved with a suitcase and a guitar.
I love it. And
I met lots of friends, and a lot of people were helping each other, and I found that really good. Like, everybody was lifting each other up in LA. Like, no one,
there wasn't a whole bunch of competition. It was like, hey, we're
I like that.
Got a sisterhood or a brotherhood.
Yeah, I like that about LA. You can wear anything weird out there, and no one's judging. I mean, everybody's just doing their own thing.
Sure.
But it's for some reason it just works out there. It's just you can do your thing.
There's so many damn people. You're like, whatever.
Well, it's also Hollywood. The more flash, the better, right? I mean, it's Hollywood out there.
Yeah,
so you gotta stand out somehow.
I found like little indie venues and restaurants and that, and it worked, But then the pandemic hit, and I was in like survival mode, and it was a struggle. But I found the desert, and it was refreshing because there's bands that have recording studios and that in Joshua Tree, and I found it really calm out here. Yeah. No traffic, very calm.
I was gonna say no traffic is like what I think of. Like, people go, "You want to move to LA?" Hell no. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in traffic, or no. So how did you hear about Joshua Tree then? Just the musician scene then, right?
Yeah. So like Palm Springs and all out here, I try to get out and see some local music. I'm really enjoying. Do you know Tina Turntable, who's a female DJ?
I have heard of her.
Yeah, she's great. And one of my first venues I was playing at out here was Kitchen 86.
Oh, El Paseo.
And
I love their food.
I was here on a weekend away, and I went and sold myself, and said, I can do music. Let me know if you need live music, da-da-da. And I made the move, and I actually saw Tina Turntable, and I'm starting to meet more local bands in the area because I'm sure there's a lot of hidden gems and great musicians out here. I just haven't met them all yet. But Joshua Tree, I've heard there's great studios and people making great art out there as well.
Yeah, Queens of the Stone Age is up there, right? Doesn't he have a studio up there?
I think so.
Yeah, they've got a studio up there.
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain did a whole show on that, but yeah, there's little hidden gems out here. Definitely, there's a kid across the street from our house that is in some heavy metal band that's like tearing it up right now, man.
Yeah,
so
we're like, what?
Shout out to McCoy if you're hearing this, man. You guys are killing it. But
what about the place in Pioneer Town?
Oh, Pappy and Harriet's.
Oh yeah.
Pappy and Harriet's
yes,
is
I want to get there.
That was
spot.
so cool. We
see a
liked
show.
it.
Yeah, in Akershire Arena, you've got a lot of
that's
acts
right.
coming here.
Yeah.
And ice skating.
That's true.
That's
You should
what-
ice skate while playing the guitar.
I know,
Gosh,
that
that'd
would
be
that'd
dangerous.
pretty-
I'm so clumsy, so I don't know about that.
that's a novelty, right?
That would be a cool look if I could spin.
Right.
See?
So what years were you starting to kind of make your name out here? Is this like pandemic? You're going like into the like time where people are just shutting down and you're out there trying to sell live gigs, or is this after pandemic? What's
Yeah, in the
timing on
pandemic,
this?
I was writing a lot of songs. I wrote this song called 17 Stars, and I was forming my band down there in Redlands. And I have been, going back and forth. I went like 3 times to Nashville, won a Josie Award, and did a duet with William Lee Golden, which was great.
Wow.
And that. When you do a few days in Nashville, you get on that big high, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm making it.
Yeah.
And then I come back to reality and I'm like, oh, I got to get gigs and I got to figure it out. What am I doing? It's like that in the music industry. There's lots of highs, lots of lows, but it's like, as long as the music and the love for the music is in the center, it makes everything worth it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we were talking about, how like being an artist is like running a business. You have to sell yourself, right?
Yes.
You have to market yourself. You have to, like you said, I don't know.
You have to be able to balance the checkbook.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Not overspend everything that you're getting.
Yeah, I spend more time on the emails sometimes than the music, like, getting it all together and reaching out to.
And you're
different
dealing with people.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
there's
there's always
a lot to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But luckily these days, artists, we have the iPhone and we're able to make so much. I've been using the Skillshare and the Filmora to make reels, but Skillshare I just got put onto it from a friend, and if I want to like get better at my graphic design or anything or any skill set, it shows you how to do it.
God.
Yeah, from your phone.
Doesn't YouTube do that too?
I guess
though?
it could. Yeah.
We've just had a couple of guests in here, and they were like, YouTube. You just
Really?
like taught them everything. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll have to check out Skillshare though, because I'm
YouTube. Yes, I do. If I have a question or I don't know how to do something on the computer, yes, YouTube.
Yeah, but then again, you're like there watching like 5 videos to be like, okay, which guy do I like? Which one taught me what I needed to know? And that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You love YouTube,
Oh,
right?
I'm a YouTube person all the time. That's like my go-to. I'm on YouTube all day. It's on in my office all day.
Podcast.
Yeah, there's like that's it. So 2019 you came down here? Is that about the timing?
At the end of 2018.
2019
was my
so you've been down
year
here.
in LA.
You've been down here quite a while now.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
So how's the scene? Is it different? It's obviously different from LA, right? I mean, it's a little
from the desert?
Yeah, from desert LA. That's like a whole different.
It's a whole different scene. There was a lot of events and social networking all the time in LA, which was great. A lot of my friends moved out in acting and different things when the pandemic hit to pursue different things, or move back in with their parents, or all of that. A lot of people moved to Texas and Nashville, actually.
Wow.
But yeah, the desert's been a whole different vibe, and I felt very welcomed here. And, I hope as a musician I can bring value to this town with my style of music and my guitar playing and everything, because I'm really enjoying living out here and the calmness of it all, and I'm able to create again and write new songs, and it's great.
Yeah, because I would imagine like you're in an environment. So like you were talking about, now you're here in the desert and you kind of have a good vibe about the people and the environment and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you base your songwriting on, right? I mean, like some of the things, or you said there might be like a flair of the desert. Just what is the desert flair, I guess?
Well, I have been going to, the way I've been able to network out here was I joined the Chamber of Commerce,
Oh, which one?
the Rancho Mirage.
Oh, Katie Stice.
We know Katie.
He went to high school with
Yeah.
Katie.
Katie.
Yeah.
She's really
We
good.
love her.
She's the best. She's the best in the business out
She's
here.
awesome.
And it was really good, especially in those summer months when it's really, really hot in the desert, 120, 121.
Yeah, it's hard.
And it was nice to get out and go network with everyone and meet people in all different businesses as well.
Sure.
So that really helped a lot. Actually, I've met a lot of connections through that, and I'm continuing to, especially the young adults that are other artists, or some of them are in Palm Springs and they're into actual visual arts and things like that. I'm really interested in. So still learning what's out here, but like El Paseo is gorgeous. And,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Do you write songs about the desert? Like, are you know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah, some of my lyrics, even 6 years or past ago, had desert in it, and some of my newer songs, but I didn't know I was one day going to live out here. It was just, I was very influenced by the Eagles, so I think
I
like
do.
peaceful, easy feeling, it's got
Yeah,
desert in
yeah.
it. I just like the vibe of the desert, so
Classic rock, huh?
yeah, exactly, classic rock.
Now, I like the Eagles too. I like their music. And didn't they come to AccuSure? Did you go see them?
I didn't. I would have loved to see
I
them.
think they did.
They
Yeah.
did.
Right?
Yeah.
They did.
Did your parents?
My parents went to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we sent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them tickets. But speaking of your influences, who else? I mean, you've spoken on a couple of them. Who else kind of would influenced you on your way on your musical?
Inspired
Yeah,
you.
on your musical journey.
Well, I definitely was. Well, there were some local artists that I was inspired by in Perth, and traveling musicians that would come from America. There was one artist called David Lamont who heavily influenced me, and then Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble, was as a guitar player was my biggest influence, more so than Hendrix actually. And then I really got into Sheryl Crow, Jewel, and that
yeah.
90s vibe.
There's a little that because I listened to some of your music before.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
came. There's a little that Jewel vibe that you
Yeah.
got
You
going
kind
on.
of look like her too,
Oh, thank you.
right?
Yeah,
I
you
love her.
definitely,
She's
definitely
great.
you can
Beautiful
tell
girls.
there's some overlapping there. So that's
Yeah,
funny
and
that
they
you say
kind
that.
of, those artists, if you notice Sheryl Crow and Jewel, they crossed over to pop, and that's where I wasn't quite country, I wasn't quite rock. Like I kind of had this, I was into jazz and a little fusion of things, exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt that in Jewel's music, and but big time influenced as a teenager by Keith Urban and his earlier work, because he made it in Tamworth, which I spent a lot of time in Tamworth Country Music Festival, and he later made it in America. And yeah, his guitar playing definitely inspired me as well.
Yeah, you can definitely pick up some of your influences in your music. I'd advise everybody go check out her stuff, because there's some really good stuff out there.
Thank
for
you.
sure,
Thank
for sure.
you.
Absolutely. Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
So, do you play any other instruments?
I'm mainly guitar focused,
okay.
so slide, acoustic, and guitar. But if I go into the studio and I have to learn other things, like I can, but
But that's
I
your
don't
love.
say I'm any of those. I'm mainly a guitarist.
Don't
Yeah.
tell anybody, but I play ukulele. Just kidding.
But sometimes with the keyboard, you can make other sounds. You can make other sounds come along.
Well, yeah, with like
true.
drum machines now,
Yeah.
they're so sophisticated
Yeah,
now.
exactly,
I mean,
the
you don't even
AI.
really need to be a musician to make like drum beats now. It's like you can just
R&B.
loop them and just,
yeah,
you know,
it's
like-
crazy with technology, and I'm
It's-
still getting my head around it and learning more as
Right.
much as I can all the time.
And how are you feeling about the AI stuff that's been coming out? I mean, I know like, you know, there's songs that are not even human generated anymore. What's your kind of opinion and feel on that stuff? Have you heard any of those songs?
I haven't heard
You haven't heard?
the ones you mean. Like, are you talking AI voices?
No,
or-
AI completely. Like Drake has a song that, well, it's not Drake's song, but there's a song by Drake that AI completely did, and he did nothing with it. And it sounds
Really?
like a real, yeah, it sounds like a real song. Like it sounds like a, you know, something like he did it.
Are they playing like, the real guitars? Or
No, it's
nothing?
just like, it's like more of like a
Computer
a beat.
generated.
It's like a hip, it's
Oh,
like Drake,
okay.
so it's like hip hop. It's like, you know, pop beats, but
Yeah.
but they're making songs now that are completely
Oh my
humanless.
god.
You
Yes,
know, and,
yes.
and that's like, to me, it's like such a, it's an
horrible.
offense, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that
Yeah,
because music,
yeah.
because music's like an expression of people's soul. I feel like the artist's soul, you know, it's like coming out, and you're having this AI bot, you know, create this soulless music, I'm just like, you know,
Yes.
to me, it's just it's a blasphemy. But so, yeah, I think it's coming though, because AI is going to be everywhere in the next probably 10 years, you know. So.
I mean, a lot of us use AI to make Canva and to make posters, and I guess we can use it to our advantage.
Sure.
I like to keep as many real instruments as I can with the guitars, but I know I have in production used, you can get sound plugins and you can add different things. Yeah.
gosh.
And you can make a keyboard sound like,
Yeah.
you know, anything really.
Really?
Yeah, cello or anything like. Yeah, so there's a lot that you can use to your advantage. If you can play the chords, you can basically arrange it in the way you like.
Yeah, because there's musicians
Yeah.
that don't even play like instruments anymore. They just play the keyboard.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
and they just make music like
Right.
that. So it's a whole new world.
It
you
is
know?
a new world.
It's a whole new world. But I lean on the side of real musicians.
I
Kind of
still
like,
think
you know,
that live
Yeah.
music is, there's something about a live show where you're seeing that person play the
absolutely.
guitar or play the, you know, piano. There's something about it that comes from the heart, that feeling. I think in a recording it's different because you can utilize technology.
Totally.
But yeah.
So have you ever thought about like teaching others how to play the guitar? Because I mean, it sounds like you obviously know what you're doing and you love doing it. And so I would imagine like that would be kind of cool to see other people that just have, like I said, have no coordination.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I would do that. And so has that ever
I have
crossed
had
your
the
mind?
pleasure to be
Ah.
able to, yeah. Some girls have got advice for singing and guitar off me and different things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
is that maybe another business down the road?
Yeah,
I
right.
hope so. I need to become an entrepreneur.
Well, I mean, there's always, you know, rich people that'll pay you to teach their kids how to play an instrument, right?
And, you know, there's so
True.
many young kids that
Why do you gotta
have
be
natural ability that really just naturally have it, and they just need someone to slightly guide them. And
Yeah, give them that little push and that
Exactly.
self-confidence, like you can do this.
yeah,
You know, and like you said, you might be able to take a shy kid and kind of make them
Yeah.
come alive like you. And
exactly.
that's-
It's nice to see that.
I don't know if Australia is the same way, but here in the United States, a lot of music, you know, music was a big part of school. Like once you got to junior high, there was like opportunities for kids to learn full years of instruments. Like you could join the band and be in, like when I was coming up in school, like there was kids that were just in band and music all the way through junior
Yeah.
high to high school.
Yep.
I think that budget is starting to phase out, and it's a real tragedy, I think, because it's like there's a lot of kids, like you said, that have talent. They just don't have any access to it, you know? So I think in Australia, do they teach music still at the primary schools, or is it something that you have to do like individually?
We had a primary school rock band. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And I did Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz in year 7.
I love Lenny Kravitz.
And I had this music teacher called Dougal Stevens, and I'd be like, Mr. Stevens, I got a new song. Can you hear it? And he would listen to me on the lunch break. But we did have that in primary school. And then when I got to high school, in order to do proper music lessons, I think you had to be in the choir, and I didn't want to do the choir for some reason because I couldn't sight read. I can only play by ear. So you see, I did a music theory course in primary school, and I failed that because I
Really?
didn't know any of the notes,
Got it.
but I can write a song. So I didn't fit in this school format. I had a great school, and I loved art and all the other subjects. And I had a singing teacher there for a while, actually. But that's what I'm saying with some kids. They might not fall in with the book smart, the
Yeah.
knowing how to read the music, like horns or sight read a certain instrument like a violin or something. But then they may pick up the guitar and get a great teacher that teaches by ear and be like the next Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
everybody's brain works differently, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. So, songwriting, right? Like,
Yes.
I was a little girl and I used to like think that I was the poet, you know, like I don't know. So, I've always heard, and we watch. What's her name? Amy
Amy
Winehouse.
Winehouse. Oh, yeah.
Like,
love
yes.
Amy
wrote
Winehouse.
the best songs
Oh,
because
yeah.
she was heartbroken
Such a
or
talent.
what have you.
Wow.
Also
She's
an addict,
amazing.
but she was very talented.
So, oh yeah, but I mean, like, does heartbreak really, bring it home or like help with songwriting like they say it does? I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Adele writes all about heartbreak.
It's true.
Maybe my next album will be all about heartbreak. I don't know. There was a song I wrote when I was 12 called "Do You Know What It's Like to Really Have Your Heart Broken?" I hadn't had my heart broken, you know. It was called Emotions.
Oh, I love it.
Such a sad song. But I love writing songs about love, uplifting. But yeah, you never know. I might write some sad ones.
Yeah,
but Amy Winehouse, my goodness, I loved her.
She was such a talent.
Yeah.
Such a talent, but that's what, sometimes it's the brightest stars burn out real quick,
Yeah,
But
and those songs had so much grit and emotion and heart, and yeah, I still love her records.
Oh, yeah. We watched a documentary on it, and I mean, it just so sad. I'm like crying like a baby, and he's, it's just like, it's so horrible because she was just like such an inspiration into her music. Like you said, it's so gritty.
So gritty. Yeah, exactly.
And
she
real.
had something very different about her to any other artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a bit of a tortured soul. That brings me to my next question. What do you think about the streaming and the digitalization of music? I know that back in the day, an artist could get a deal, make some money with the record label. They might screw you on the on the contract, but you at least get some money up front to produce your art and just be an artist. And now it seems like streaming has come in and just killed that model. Now they just want single after single.
Yep, singles, not albums.
And they don't want albums. And to me, that's such a tragedy because some of the best art in music is an album. Those albums.
These vinyls even.
You
enjoy the whole album.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They don't make albums anymore. So what's your opinion on the streaming? I mean, obviously it opens up avenues for like smaller artists to kind of blow up. But does it?
It's exposure at this stage, not so much about the money. Yeah,
absolutely. But it also doesn't create long-term careers anymore, right? Am I mistaken? Because I feel like there's, back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, there were artists that had 20, 30-year superstar careers like Prince and Michael Jackson and these bands that were AC/DC, these bands that were just bigger than life. And you don't exactly. Yes. And like we hear, fast forward to 2025, there's not a lot of contemporary big mainstream bands that last more than 5 years. And I think it's because of streaming. I kind of want to hear your opinion on
from what I've heard, I think I've seen artists go from playing at a jazz club to next thing. Like, for instance, there was an artist called Passenger who had the song Let Her Go. And that just, I don't know if it got billions of streams, but overnight. But he wasn't an overnight. I met him many years ago, and I remember before his show, lovely gentleman called Mike, Passenger, is his stage name. He was doing a show, and just before, it was in sound check, I said, what are you up to next? What have you got coming on? And I think he'd been doing songwriting for many, many years. He was very experienced. You could tell from the way he played and his music. And I don't know how big his fan base was, but I'm sure it blew up when that Let Her Go song came out, because I followed his success. And he said to me, I'm opening for an artist called Ed Sheeran. And I go, who's that? At the time, I said, who's that? And then next thing, becomes a big thing. And I think for an artist like him who plays guitar by himself, he can hold a crowd by himself. Streaming was a way for him to just reach the stars. Right? Yeah. And then artists need to, especially soloists like Ed, Passenger, artists like aspiring people like me that are trying to navigate it all. I think we need to be on the road. We need to be touring, because we have to use the YouTube and streaming as a way for people to hear us. But then we need to get out there and play. Right.
Handshake, and even get to know, like you were talking about the chamber, but even if you went and got to know business owners that are, have a venue okay, Red Barn is right down the street from me. So, I mean, they're going to have live music there. So I don't know if you know them or anything, but that would be cool, because I talked to the owner not too long ago, and he was telling me that they're going to have all kinds of genres of music, and they really did a great number on that place. It's really it's designed really beautifully.
Oh, lovely.
So it'd be cool, kind of cool
I'll have
to
to
do
check
that.
it out. I played a lot of clubs out here, and
Ah.
and it's been a real treat. They are so fancy out here.
There's a lot of money in these country clubs around here. So what you're
Yeah.
saying though is that basically you got to stay on the road to make money, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
is that
I
where the
saw
profit
this.
source is shows?
I saw this. Yeah, you got to keep your. It is a bit of a half business, half artist thing. Like you have to be
Half
a bit
business,
of an entrepreneur to navigate this crazy music business, music circus. But we love it. We love what we do. But I saw something on Instagram, and this girl, she's on the radio consistently in London, and I forget the artist, but I think she invested like 10 or 20K into taking her bands onto the road, and she had like so many tickets sold at a big festival, but she ended up losing money on tour. And then she brought it to America, and it was the same thing because she had such big overheads. So I think there's a lot of artists that are on radio and doing like visually so great, but it's still a struggle, the music business in itself, which is kind of warped, and I hope it changes. But I'm sure there is ways to get around that and to take it. Like the great thing about social media is you can take your music straight to the fans and they can buy it, and I think that's the beauty of it these days. But you can't really be in the music industry for money, because it really has to, the money comes once people feel the art, and I still believe the art comes first. Yeah.
Well, it should. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, that reminds me when you were saying, like, you want to go straight to the fans, right? I love TikTok. I learn a lot in like a minute. Okay. And that's like all my attention span can handle. So it's perfect for me. But I mean, you know, you go on there and you can pick your music, and they're from artists like you've never heard of. And it's like, man, they've some really good stuff on here. So I think like social media has really opened our eyes too. But yeah, it's just kind of a snippet. So, but I think that's a way to reach other people, because then you can say, oh, this artist, and you like that music. Let's go see what they're doing. Right. So
and reels as well. People are so taken in with like 30-second video.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful. You know, videos are so powerful in this day and age. So you can go become a viral sensation overnight from one video these days. So that's the great thing. We have all this opportunity in front of us, all the indie artists.
That's the reverse side of it, right? It's very democratic now. Like if you're good and you put it on social media, you will gain following, you'll gain attraction with your career. And that's the one good thing of it. Label can't freeze you out anymore. You know, you can't.
Yeah, it's an equal playing field.
As long as you're doing good work. And we had an entrepreneur on who last week, right? Remember? Outcome over profit.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Because he was artsy.
Yeah, well, these artists are very passionate about their product. That's what I'm kind of picking up. But I think, you know, for somebody in the music game, I mean, it's all about your art, right? To really drive the product and the profit, you know.
We're counting on the people. Actually, us artists are counting on the people to carry the music. Because if the people don't like it, we don't have a job.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's the days of the experimental album are over, right? You can't do the Beatles' White Album anymore. You got to do
I can't do a 10-minute solo.
You got to do the tried and true formula that's going to get views, you know. So that's another thing.
Well, and I have a question, because obviously music here in the desert is known for what in April? Coachella.
We have Coachella and Stagecoach.
So have you gone? What do you think?
You haven't gone? Are you kidding me?
I haven't gone yet.
You got to go this year.
You've been here how many years and you haven't gone?
Only been 1 year in the desert. Just about a year and a half in the desert.
Oh, okay. So you were down here.
Fresh.
So you just moved down here. Okay.
Yeah, Palm Springs.
Okay. You have an excuse.
Tree.
You have an excuse now.
I really want to go to Stagecoach because there's such a great lineup. And Coachella. I like both of them.
I know.
We got to get you to Coachella.
Have you guys been to those festivals?
I went to the very first Coachella.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I didn't for the first 10 years, I didn't pay to get in.
Wow.
It's past the time where they can arrest me for this, right? But yeah, we had like guys work. It was very like, it wasn't like it is now.
No,
corporate. It
not
was
all
run,
corporate and like streamlined.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a madhouse out there, so you could jump the fence. We had
Is
guys,
it camping like Woodstock?
You can,
Yeah.
you
Is that
can
right?
camp as well.
You can.
Yeah.
It's more glamping now, but
Oh,
it used to be like
Yeah.
a little bit more grimy and not as organized and not as corporate. But yeah, the first I think I went to the first 10, like 7 or 10. Yeah.
Oh,
in a row.
wow.
Because when they came out, I was still in college, and it was
Yeah.
like we're having what in our Coachella Valley. So I drove back down from college to go to these things because it was just such like crazy that we would have a world class event in the Coachella Valley, and here we are, like 35 years later, and it's
Oh,
still around.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
5 years later?
Well, maybe
God,
25 years.
Ugh,
Yeah, the first one
that
was like
sounds-
2000.
I'm like, wait a minute, I'm only
2001, 2000,
Something.
2001.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I was at
Well,
the
that's
first
on
one.
my dream list. I want to play at Coachella.
There you go.
Yeah, but they have a locals. They look for local talent.
They do?
They do.
They
Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
I mean,
So
I
look
know
into that.
a DJ that has played there just because he's
Mm-hmm.
good too, but he's local. So they gave him like an opening slot on like the first Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
they
cool.
definitely are looking for local talent. We got to get you hooked up
Yeah,
with
hook me
somebody
up.
over there. Golden Voice, if you're listening, local talent right here. You gotta hit us up. But yeah, there's definitely that'd be awesome. I mean,
Well, you know what you should do.
Yes.
On last season,
Yep.
we had Chris Miller on, and he is
Ooh.
he's a photographer.
Great. Yeah.
He worked his way up and started being one of the first guys to photograph Coachella.
Oh, wow.
So he can, so he's met
Oh.
many artists, and he got to like get front line. So
Oh,
you should check out that
I
episode.
will
It's
check it
pretty
out.
good.
Awesome.
yeah, we'll
Thank
talk to
you.
Chris for you, see if we can. You got any connections?
Right.
But no, there is an opportunity because they do look for local artists.
Oh,
so,
that's great to
yeah.
hear.
Definitely. So hey, be on the lookout, people. We might have sparked something here.
Let me ask you a question about like your website, and you're on Instagram and
yes.
things like that. Are you able to book you through your website? You know what I mean? Like, hey, I guess you can inquire,
inquiries.
but like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they can have inquiries. There's a contact page and an email there as well. And I will be performing with my band this year at the Tennis Open.
Ah,
So that's really
cool. So next
couple
month in
weeks.
March.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, last year it was like an impromptu thing that happened. I got invited to sing "America the Beautiful" in the Stadium 1, and that was a real highlight of my year because I just moved out here.
Yes, you're like,
And
how did that come about?
my agent Ray, they
Got you in there.
they got me in there.
That's so
and
cool.
to do the America the Beautiful and the Desert Sun, put it on there, and it was really incredible. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, right?
And that's awesome. So you're gonna do a repeat performance this year, or are you gonna be
Switch
doing
it up.
something different?
So this one would be for ticketed people that come and watch. I believe I'm going to be doing a band show. Yeah.
Are they gonna have on the tennis court, or
No, not on the tennis
They have like a
court
side
this year.
stage for you
Yeah,
guys?
they have
Oh, that's
a
awesome.
stage and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's like right where they have all the like car shows and everything, and they have like food vendors and all that. It might be in that area. I don't know. I haven't been there in a
Yeah.
while, but
That's
I think
cool.
Yeah.
That's gonna.
Well, they'll
be-
hear us anyway.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nice.
I'll be there
little-
March 6th with
That's
my
good.
band. So,
Awesome.
yeah, people
Check
can
it
come
out.
out and hear us.
Awesome.
okay. I
That's
have another question. How do let's say if somebody do you say I have a 2-hour minimum, or how do you do that? Does
Every show is different. I just kind of, whether it's a private party or, it's a club or
private
people
party.
inquire about, sometimes they want a country night, sometimes they want a rock night. So I kind of am able to cater to a lot of different clients. So
That's awesome.
just hit me up and I can usually make it work.
Have you tried Big Rock in India?
I haven't played there yet.
No, we've
Yeah.
seen many of bands, and they're all really great, and they have like a stage, and people just go and eat and hang out and then listen to music. So that's kind of a cool
Oh.
little venue there.
Okay.
yeah. Our favorite venue, my favorite venue here is the Date Shed. Have you ever been to that one?
Oh yeah,
It's
is
right
that even
on-
around?
It's still around, but it's not open very often. It's right there on the polo fields.
Okay.
And it's an amazing little club that they built out there for artists when they come out to Coachella to have like a little VIP spot. And then they open it. They used to open it up throughout the year. And it was it's my favorite little spot here in the valley.
You know,
I don't know if it's even still open.
I don't
now.
know, but what about like? Now I'm thinking of ways to like get you booked. So what about like Thursday nights in downtown Palm Springs? Like I wonder if you could like rent a little booth and just
Ooh.
play the music, and people are walking by and catch a tune here and there, and they're like they inquire. There's a ton of people walking around that might be kind of cool, right?
Downtown Indio is. Have you seen that scene yet?
They have a big.
Yes, I played near there in Thermal. They had the beautiful the horses, and I would be on the big stage there.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of different concerts out here. It's been very exciting. So.
Yeah, because
still
downtown,
learning
but
everything.
downtown Indio, they have
though.
those music clubs. Have you heard of the little? What is it called? The little street
bar?
music? No, the little street music club they got down there.
Yes,
You've been to
I
that
have
one?
a friend, Dakota, that is a comedian, and he does a lot of shows there. So I'm still meaning to go down and meet more comedians and watch a show, some stand-up.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch some stand-up out here.
That's
Got a lot
awesome.
of comedians out here.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? We had no idea, right? Until what? Tell her about it.
Well, we just walked into a show one day, right?
Well, he met one of his ex-players, and he's the one that was like, you need to come down here because he owns this vintage store
Oh, wow.
in downtown India called Urban Donkey, and it's a cool little store. Like, everything's unique, and so he was like, hey, it's comedian night, and, right? He was saying they do that every
week.
I don't know.
Yeah, they do it every week, right?
Every
You've been
week?
down. Yeah, they do it every week.
Oh, wow.
Upcycle comedy or something like that.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
we went, and it was actually really good. I
Aw.
mean, we met one dude. He was so funny, right?
Yeah.
I was like, we need to get him on the podcast.
Do it.
We just sit here and laugh
I
the whole
love it.
time.
Yeah, but there's a little burgeoning art scene down here, and
Yeah,
I
there
think
is.
that
Absolutely.
there's
Yeah.
definitely music and comedy and
Yes.
art, and
You're right,
you fit right into that.
Oh,
you fit
thank
right into that
you.
scene. I think it's gonna work out for you.
Thank
since
you.
You're kind of a newbie to the desert
Definitely
now, right?
a newbie.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question because I'm all about questions, right? Oh gosh. So like if say we hired you for something, right? And then if I said, so then you're gonna say, hey, do you want this or that, right? Or you're gonna say
Yeah.
the classic rock, and I'll probably say classic rock.
Yeah, if
And-
it's a club or a restaurant or a club, usually I get hired and they want a 3-hour set, and I discuss my set list with them. Sometimes they just want covers. Sometimes a mix of both originals and covers, and I tell them the styles that I do, from country, rock, a bit of jazz. Sometimes they want Frank Sinatra. Sometimes they want more of my music. It just depends.
So it just depends.
Yeah, every venue's different.
So like
Yep.
say you're there strumming along and somebody says, play this song.
Yes,
What do you do then?
I
You
do
go
take
ahead-
a lot of requests. I know
Really?
I have about 300 songs in my I've written 300, but I have probably about 200 that covers that I have,
How the
usually-
hell do you remember all the words? Seriously,
Since I was 16, I've been storing them because I had a lot of cover shows in Australia. So I had to do a lot of pub gigs where you sing Jimmy Barnes. That's a big artist out there. A lot of classic rock I got requested in my high school years. So I learned a lot of those, kind of Dire Straits, all that stuff. Yeah, I get requested all sorts of music out here, but they love the country and they love the jazz. So I get a lot of requests for that.
Yeah, I would go the jazz. I would go the jazz route.
You want to
my
know
favorite.
what's so funny is our 13-year-old son, he loves music like his dad, and my nephew, who's also 13,
Yes.
talk to him, and they're like, you don't know anything about music because you listen to music with no words.
Oh my gosh.
Remember? I'm like,
That's
oh my
true.
gosh, like just instrumentals, or like, it's hilarious. He's like, this
Those
is
little
music with
punks
no
don't know
words.
nothing. But that's
That's the age.
It's the age. It's the evolution of growing up and thinking your dad's not cool. So I'll be not cool for a little while. And then,
I even heard that there was a punk hardcore scene out
There
here
is.
too,
There
where
telling
they
you,
do the
that's-
mosh pit. I heard that was
There
a
is.
thing
That's
out
our
here.
neighbor. I'm telling you,
Really?
across the street.
Okay.
I mean, we're just like,
no, he's more. They're more metal, but
Yeah.
there's actually a punk show downtown Indio. I think
Okay.
coming up.
Yeah.
that
so
little
it's not the
hardcore.
same.
Okay.
Little hardcore. Yeah, it's more punk, but
I don't know what's the
yeah,
difference
you don't know
between
the
punk
difference.
and
Metal's a
metal.
little bit
I
heavier.
play at La Quinta Brewing as well.
Oh, do you?
in Old
Old
really?
Town in Palm
Oh,
Desert. Yeah,
awesome.
they've been.
I love it
It's
over
one of the
there.
first shows I ever got out here.
What dates do you go over there? Is it just
It's
random,
like-
or you have
yeah,
set
it's
dates?
random. Yeah, but I
Okay.
post it on my website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be on the lookout for that. You want to check out some good music, people.
Yeah.
And you know what else you should do? Like with the chamber?
Yes.
I would say like, hey, your next event, like, how about you let me, play for a little bit? I'm telling you, just get exposure, and
Yeah.
then people that are there are going to inquire,
Yeah.
right?
This February has been very busy. It's been great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you kind of looking for right now? Are you looking for gigs? You looking for private events? What's your
a bit of both.
You want it all. You'll take it all, right?
I would like to be more booked in the summertime because that's when it's quiet. So I'm looking for summertime bookings right now, and April, May, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Sure. I think for March should be pretty like it's a lot of private events in March and April.
Even
right?
March, we'll
Totally.
see what comes through.
There's a lot of corporate parties that come down here for those big festivals.
Right.
So definitely there's a lot of market for that down here. But.
And I'm also I'm meeting more drummers, bass players and different artists to be able to collab with because I do need to put bands together for certain things. So it's been cool to learn that there are other players out here.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you. So like you were talking about meeting them or playing with the band.
Yeah.
So like, do you put together a contract for that, or you guys just do the old handshake? What do you do? Right, as an entrepreneur, what do you do in that kind of instance?
Yes, I email my bands, but the guys that usually I have in Redlands, they're friends of mine, so I know they're gonna rock out. But usually I meet another drummer through another reference, and they'll be like, "Hey, my buddy can do the show." It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Got it. That's awesome.
And you guys show
We're
up
all
and
musicians.
you've never played together, but you guys can go through the set.
We have rehearsals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like my other drummer that I'm getting for this coming up show, we have a rehearsal soon as well. Yeah.
How many times would you rehearse for something that like you're just getting to know somebody? How long? And does it always vibe?
Well, we always play by ear. So I hire musicians that play by ear. Yeah. So it's the drummers, because they don't have to learn the chords, is much quicker than the bass player. But my bass player that I've got, he already knows my stuff because he's played with me many times before, and but he's got such a good ear. I mean, the Berkeley, he's got that Berkeley trained theory.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's good with the theory too, and he can play that jazz, and he can do it all.
Wow.
So that makes it easier because I don't need to explain it to he just gets it. So it's nice to find that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Stay with that.
That's true in any industry. It's good to find somebody talented and just work with them, right? Because they're going to save you a couple times.
That's Ben that does the bass for me, and we did a couple of shows actually in Lake Havasu. We got invited on a tour there a couple of years ago. Well, maybe it was, I don't know if it was 2 years ago now or something. But yeah, he was my bassist for that tour as well, and that was cool.
That's
okay,
awesome.
You need to rent a boat in Havasu and play your
Gee, you got all kinds of ideas.
houseboat.
See these ideas just streaming out.
Houseboat is a real thing. It's pretty cool. Get one with a slide.
So we're kind of up against time, but I do want to hear what your advice would be to somebody, maybe a younger kid, coming up, thinking about going into the music industry, and what kind of advice would you give that person if that's something that they wanted to pursue later on?
And thank you for having me today, guys. It's been really fun.
It's been awesome.
We've gone everywhere.
Yeah, I love it.
Two artists right here. That's what happens.
Well, what I would say to younger artists that want to be singers or guitarists or a musician is just enjoy what you love. Don't be too critical of your singing voice or songwriting early on because it can change. My voice really didn't mature till I was about 17, 18, 19. It started getting better. And before that, it wasn't my strength. It really grew over the years to be a strength. So songwriting is something that just, you're going to get criticism from family, friends, or because everybody's trying to help you and navigate the industry that everybody's trying to navigate this weird industry. No one has the answer. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get criticism, you're going to get positive feedback, but just as long as you love the music, just find records and other live artists that you can look up to, because that really helped me. I would study DVDs and really watch. My guitar teacher was a big influence because in those pivotal years of 12 to 16, when someone else is doing it with ease, you can get very inspired, but it's like really nice to see that in person and witness someone that loves their guitar, because it just you end up catching that vibe. So I would say just like find records and other artists to look up to, and don't be too critical of yourself, because it definitely evolves over the years, and you'll find your way, you know.
Absolutely.
It just happens. So,
I love that.
Well, that's some great advice. Everybody out there needs to rewind that and listen to that again. Where can people find you if they want to book you for a private party or a gig or check your music out? Where's the best place for them to go online and find you?
Sure. So I don't know if you're going to put a little banner, but DaniStefanetti.com, my website.
Okay.
And it just had like a whole new kind of look to it. It looks a little bit more deserty now, and all my a couple of my shows are up there at the moment, and my music, and people can check it out and watch my music videos. I've got a song out there that has done well called Moon Looks Pretty Tonight, and I'm still writing new stuff, so there's plenty of videos up there, and come and see a live show, everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you need having a private event and you want a musician, it's your gal right here. Super talented, and we're super blessed to have you come on the show.
Thank you so much.
I think you're a star in the future. So I think this is gonna be your launching pad. So
and add some howling from a desert wolf. I know. I have one other question. I think it's pretty cool.
Go ahead. Go ahead, honey.
Okay. Yeah. So say you're playing reggae.
Oh, okay.
How or what have you, right?
Yep.
How do you bring it? Does the Australian accent come through? Like, because this is what I'm talking about. I've watched movies and they sound like American, right? And then they're on an interview on, ABC or whatever, and then they have like an accent. And I'm like, wow, they tricked me. So
I'll show you. I want to love you and treat you right. I want to love you every day and every night. So it's not there.
Yeah, there's no accent.
But
it just goes because I don't know why.
Singing has no accent.
Just something I thought about.
Singing has no accent, people.
Yeah,
the British have taught us this over the years. The British invasion has taught us that they do not have accents when they're singing. That's just
cool. I like it.
Well,
there's only in between songs. I get that a lot out here.
See,
people say, because in between songs they can hear the accent pretty thick, and they say, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from here," and they're like, "No, you're not." I was born in Australia, but I'm from here.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me ask dumb questions.
No, they're great questions.
These two artists, man, they're on their own level, but super talented. Check her out. She's very talented. She's gonna blow your mind. Go to her website, and thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And we'll see you guys next time on CV Hustle.